Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Today is February 3rd, 2021. This is our 18th podcast for this school year. We are tied with our record now of how many podcasts our record for number of podcasts. So, welcome, Keith. And today our special guest is Greg from IIT Esports. So, Illinois Institute of Technology down on the south side of Chicago. Well, not far south, but just outside of downtown Chicago, just south of it. And he's here to talk about his program and let us know what IIT is doing in the esports realm. They've been around for quite a while now. Probably one of the longer groups. I think right after Robert Morris started up theirs, they started up their program too. Just they didn't get as much notoriety in the beginning of their infancy, but they've been doing great work, especially locally and here in Chicago. And it's awesome seeing what they're doing now. So here's Greg. He's going to tell you a little bit about their program and what they do. And then, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll go ahead and answer them. But Greg, go ahead and say hi and let us know about IIT.
Hi. My name is Greg. So I'm the current co-president for Illinois Tech Esports. So we are a club program. We've been operating since about 2013 in our current state. So currently we support teams for, I believe, 12 different games running in a variety of different modes of competition. So these kind of range from just casual pub groups of getting together and having a good time, and to teams that are highly competitive in tournament scenes and trying to go out and try and win tournaments. So I'm really excited to come talk to you guys about our program and tell you what we have to offer.
That's awesome. We're really excited to hear. And I know you guys have a really big Smash group at your school, because I know you guys are in a league with DePaul and a couple of other local Chicago schools. You guys originally were doing like live tournaments before COVID, right? Or
yeah, so we had a big I think it was a 100-person Smash tournament that we were trying to plan for April of 2020 before that got canceled for fairly obvious reasons at this point. But right now, Smash Bros is definitely one of the more popular games that we have going. I believe the majority of our players play Ultimate, but we do have some players in for Melee as well. So they're a super friendly group of folks, and they just love playing Smash. So we've been trying really hard to get them set up to play however we can. But recently they've really just been playing through Wi-Fi, which is what it is. It's just kind of this current circumstances.
Yeah, trust me. For us too, we have our state championship this weekend on Saturday. Basically, it's like 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. Hopefully, it's running on time. But yeah, they've played 8 weeks in 3 different matches every week for that. So they've played a significant amount of games, and we've had a lot of connectivity issues, a lot of issues with that. So we definitely know that it's also not the greatest. And so in the worst part, because it's not the greatest, there's no easy way to be able to stream their games and highlight some of our players. Like, we would have loved to have been able to show a bunch of them throughout the season, but we didn't want to jump in and cause extra lag and things like that. But for the playoffs, we definitely want to get as much as we can. So
yeah, for us, we've just they've been doing practices and stuff like that, but there haven't really been any community events or any tournaments just that we've been able to try and do, just because our guys really just they're not having a great time with the online Smash experience. And as far as I can tell, it's really just stuff that's out of their control. Unfortunately, I don't personally play Smash, so my understanding of the issue is all just what they tell me about it. But it not the greatest, but they're really looking forward to when we get good vaccine rollout and we can start hosting events for that again, because those were a ton of fun.
Yeah, definitely. We're missing that too, because we were part of helping host 2 tournaments last year, and they were the best Smash events for some of our kids who would never have really gotten have been confident enough to join a big Smash tournament, because they don't want to go in and get destroyed and then have to sit there. So offering it to high school kids, and that also allows them to get their feet wet a little bit, if they haven't jumped onto that scene. So
Yeah,
What
for sure.
other games? I mean, obviously Smash, but what other games do you guys like? What are your different structures for games? You said some casual and some, hyper competitive.
So
What?
the way we kind of structure things is we let the captain who is in charge of the team kind of decide how competitive and how structured the team is going to be for every game. So, for example, right now we have a World of Warcraft team, but that's a very casual group. We don't have enough people to even run raids right now, and they all kind of know the limits of what they can achieve, just because there's not quite enough people to be running raids. So they're playing dungeon runs together, but it's very informal. It's just, hey, here's when we're on. Let's see how many people we can get to go and just run some dungeons for a while. Just because that's the nature of that group. But then you have games where we have a lot of people and we can run a lot, like our Valorant teams right now. So we have 3 different Valorant teams currently competing, and um, the each of those teams all have their own captain who is deciding what exactly is being done and how seriously things are being taken. So the one of the teams is playing very, very competitively. They're a bunch of extremely talented players, and they're looking to go in and try to win tournaments if possible. And then there's another one that's very casual, and they're just looking to have a good time. So it really does come down to what the captains prioritize. But if there's enough demand in teams in a game, we can run teams of both styles. Um, and I think that's a really nice thing about this current structuring. The fact that if you want to play super competitively for a game, we can accommodate that, but we also can accommodate the same game having a very casual team.
And on a related note to that, how do you go about deciding captains for a program like yours?
So the way we typically decide captains is so if a game does not currently have any structure in our school, we will let anyone who wants to step up and create a team for it. We will give you access to our resources and do everything we can to help you establish that team. And if you're able to establish the team, congrats, you've established a team and you are the captain. From there, once a team has already been established, we have captains, as they step down, appoint a new captain to take over in their stead, because we generally trust that whoever the team captain is knows who's the most responsible member of their team and who's the most ambitious and willing to step up into a leadership position like that. And of course, we don't just force this on people; they are asked first. But for the most part, we that system has been working fairly well for us. Most of the time, when people are appointed like that, they are happy to accept and step up and start being the one to schedule their practices and define their team in that way.
That's awesome. I think that to have that succession of power, I think, is really important to have in your structure, because it takes a while to be able to do that. Because if we try to do that in high school, it would be kind of a crapshoot, because with the way high school goes, you might have one kid who's a leader one year, but then it's like then he gets a girlfriend or a job, and then he disappears from the club. And with high school or with college, you might have a little bit more responsibility, especially if they are really highly competitive. They want to keep that going. So I think that's really cool that you guys just allow them to elect the next person to come after them, instead of having to start an interview process or something crazy like that all over again to figure out who's going to be in charge.
Yeah, a lot of that comes down to we really want our teams to feel like they can be self-sufficient to a certain extent. I, as president of the org, try my best not to force anything on any of these teams, because our number one priority is really just making sure that our teams have a really good time. Because right now we are only a club. We are not, officially sanctioned by the school. And my number one priority as a student leader in a club is I want people to have a good time. I want people to enjoy themselves. If that means competing at a really high level to you, then I want to make sure you can compete at a really high level. But if that isn't what that means, I want to be able to accommodate that too. So this is what we have found works best, to try and accommodate both at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that that you allow them to pick their level of competition, whether they want to be just a for fun group this year, like maybe you guys don't have the talent and so you don't want to enter in those, really high end college competitions because, it's just not going to be there, instead of forcing them and saying, hey, we got to put on a team just for this to do it. And I think that's really cool that you guys take that into consideration, because that's one of the things about the high school scene is that we try to make the high school scene more of just not the competition, but also include some of the club and social stuff, depending on, how many people want to get involved. I know like some schools have 200 to 300 kids like as part of their high school teams. And so these groups are so big. It's hard to manage, especially, trying to do fun events and things like that. I think, to have them be able to pick, instead of just saying, no, you can't play because you're not good enough, and you can't be part of club because you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've got the same thing going. We have over 100 people on various teams on our rosters right now, and that is because we really want to be as inclusive as possible, and that also is why we normally try to put a really big emphasis on community events that are not just tournaments. So we do host tournaments in our org sometimes, and we'll have in-house tournaments. But we also, in a normal year, it's rather difficult this year, but we try to do other social events that don't require you to be super good at a video game to be having a good time, because we really want that community element to be prioritized and make sure everyone can have fun.
Yeah, and I think this kind of goes along with Jay in the chat was asking about Overwatch and Overwatch 2 coming out. And I think having a club like yours that's really fluid allows you to be like, well, hey, Overwatch is popular again. Let's ramp it up and see what goes.
Sure. So speaking of Overwatch, I'll give some details on that right now, because we actually already have a pretty big Overwatch scene. It is oddly popular considering it doesn't feel like I hear a lot about it, but here it's super big. There's a lot of people who are really passionate about Overwatch here, and that's why we actually have two teams right now. One of them is that highly competitive team, and the other one for more casual play, and just learning and trying to improve. So it's actually we are super looking forward to Overwatch 2 and supporting the assumed increase in popularity that's going to come with that. That's super big here, and we're really excited for that.
Yeah, I think it'll bring, at least in the very beginning, it'll bring a big bump. A lot of people who had moved off of it to play something else, they'll come back and play for a little while, and then we'll see how good the game is and what changes they make to actually keep them around. I think initially it'll be a good bump to pull some people who've gone off to play Call of Duty or Valorant or something else, at least to check out the game again and see how it goes.
Yeah, it should be great.
Yeah.
Because I personally play a decent bit of Overwatch. I think it's a fun game right now, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, the graphics revitalization might look actually somewhat decent.
Yeah.
Makes it look fresh and new characters. I think they guaranteed one new map, but it's mostly a PvE expansion, so we'll see how that goes over.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's like you said, like each school has its own group of kids that they kind of are able to, like, you guys have a good Overwatch, and like Naperville North, again, same thing, really great Overwatch team, just happens to all go to Naperville North, like, for some reason. And I think that some schools have really good League of Legends teams, like Jones in the city, like they had a really great League of Legends team for like 6 years now. And they've always been really decent, so it's really cool to see like how these pockets of schools are able to have these good groups, and then they might not even have a real Overwatch team or a really good Overwatch team kind of thing. It's it's interesting to see where kids go in the demographics. So
it's super. We've been super fortunate in terms of maintaining a pretty good Overwatch team for a while now. Personally, I just like kind of my theory on that is just like when you already have good players, your good players can teach new players as they're coming in how to be good players, and then you have more good players because your good players taught new players how to be good players. That's definitely something that happens here. For our Overwatch team specifically, there's a big emphasis on trying to improve, not just as a team but also as individuals. So we've seen a decent number of players shoot up the ranked ladder to keep our team's average SR pretty high. We've had people go up from plat to masters players. People go up. There's one guy who went up all the way from silver to top 500. Because we really want to try and prioritize that individual growth in addition to that team growth.
Yeah, and I think as you get more popular, sorry Keith, as you get more popular, then it brings, maybe I will go back to Overwatch and check it out. And then they start to learn it and get into that high end competitive play. So. Yeah.
So speaking on that topic, actually, do you guys have anyone who just does coaching is not a player? Talk about your players coaching your players, but are there people who are not active players who are also actually coaching?
So so we're trying to work on getting coaches in consistently for all of our games. Right now, we do have some students who are or alumni who are working as coaches just in their free time for our teams. So that kind of varies a lot from team to team. I would really like to have consistent coaching for all of our teams, for all of our players who want that. But right now it's really just on a volunteer basis. So I know our League of Legends team, we have a student who has been playing League for a long time who coaches. Our Overwatch team is coached by some alumni who graduated a few years back, but they're super helpful folks, and they're really smart for the game. They really study the game, which is super nice. But that really does just vary from team to team, just how dedicated the coaches are, just because they are all coached by just volunteers doing it in their free time. And I'd like for that to no longer be the case. I'd really like to be able to get to a point where we can get in coaches who we can have on as staff. But that's not a position we're in right now. That's just a goal for the future. That's an ambitious milestone we'd like to hit at some point in the future.
Yeah, every program wants to keep expanding and add coaches and sports staff and being a varsity program and all that stuff.
Yeah, but we're not quite there yet, unfortunately.
How close are you, do you think, to being a varsity or supported program?
So that's been a work in progress for a couple of years now, if I'm being honest. So our faculty advisor for our organization is a wonderful woman named April, and she really helps us out a lot and is able.
She's in chat right now too.
Oh yeah, that's sounds right. She's super helpful, and she has us in conversations to try to get these types of ambitious goals done. So I can say with confidence that this is something that is in the pipeline, but I don't feel confident giving a specific timeline for it at the moment. It's definitely something we're working towards and we're having conversations about. But whether it's here by the fall, that'd be amazing. I'm not, but it also might be 3 years out.
It's these universities are yeah, it's coming, and then next thing you know, it's 4 years later, it's oh, it's here. It's what is this again?
Yeah, quite frankly, when I was when we got our Esports and Digital Arts Center, which is a super nice space on campus that is open to our student body, where we have a bunch of gaming computers so you can come in and play games at.
That's awesome.
When we got our hands on that, personally, I was expecting we were going to have a varsity program within a year, maybe 2. Well, that was 3 years ago now. That is why I'm no longer confident giving the exact timelines.
Yeah, I mean, I applied for a couple jobs at university as advisor and things like that, and it was literally 5 months before I heard I made it past the first cut of interviews, first cut of applications, and I'm I forgot I applied for this job legitimately because it's been 5 months and I hadn't heard anything. So
yeah, I certainly don't think it's an IIT specific thing.
No, yeah, definitely, it's most schools, and I know we talked about some of that with U of I. As well, and figuring out which way to go and how long it would take before they would be able to gear up for something like that. So,
sure. Yeah, cool. But it's definitely in the pipeline. We're having conversations about that, and it's I think it's going super. But it's just a matter of I just don't know how much longer there is left.
Yeah. Someone was asking, do you guys have Valorant at IIT?
We do. So we have a couple of different levels of Valorant teams. So right now our top level Valorant team, our most competitive team, has a couple of really talented players. I know one of the guys was Radiant before the rank reset hit. I personally don't play Valorant, so I've been told that's really good.
Yeah, that's top 500 in NA.
Okay, yeah. So I did not actually know that because I don't play that game. So I know our factoids, but I don't always know things about the game that I know factoids about. So yeah, so we've got some super good players, and they're really competitive, and they from what I can tell following their chats, I think they're doing pretty good. And we also have some lower level teams just because there's a ton of interest in Valorant right now. So there's also two more teams that one of them is a little bit less competitive. So I think if I remember correctly, the average rank was only around low plat to high gold. But they still try to play in competitive environments. They take it very seriously. They're practicing regularly. They are, they're really looking to improve. And they are also a very serious competitive team. And then we have another team that is closer to like silver players, where it's just, a lot of focus on improvement, not as much focus on winning games now.
Yeah, not a bad focus to have. You just want to always keep improving and do something.
Yeah, for sure.
What other teams you guys? I think we talked about a bunch of them. Have we not covered some of them yet?
Yeah, so there's a couple other teams we have. So we have somehow pretty much not mentioned our League of Legends teams, which is another super popular game. So I believe League of Legends, we have three teams right now, with once again varying levels of skill and varying priorities. Although they're actually for League of Legends, there are like gold level tournaments, tournaments for in collegiate for only gold and below players, which makes it so that our lower level teams have tournaments that they can go into and realistically put up really good fights and potentially win, because you're not going in against a bunch of golds against a bunch of diamonds who are just going to outdo you as individuals. You can focus on being a better team and win like that, because everyone's gold. So those teams are all able to be really competitive, and be able to win their games now because there are tournaments like that, which I think is super nifty. And we also have like some higher level teams that have a lot of really good players, have a lot of diamond players. So lot of interest there. We also have a Counter-Strike team right now. I am actually personally the manager for the Counter-Strike team. I'm the current captain. The Counter-Strike team right now focuses very casual, just because of like the spread of skill. Counter-Strike right now is not really in North America. All the good Counter-Strike players in North America started playing Valorant. So right now we've got a pretty big spread of players, going from silvers to globals, and we're just playing together, looking to enjoy ourselves and maybe learn a thing or two along the way. Additionally, there's a Rainbow Six team. They do a lot of really fun stuff as well. There is a Rocket League team, we've got a super good Rocket League team. Like they're all like, I think the rank was called Grandmaster, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
They're all super talented players. And we've had Hearthstone teams, and believe right now those are all of the different games that I hadn't mentioned yet. Yeah, I believe that's it. That hasn't come up yet.
Awesome. You guys have a big group then.
Yeah. We really want to support everyone. Like whatever you want to do, whatever you want to come in and play. We want to be as broad as possible, because there's a lot of different really good esports out there. So
yeah, like you said, you want to be inclusive for as many people as you can at your school. So
yeah, for sure.
I think that's a really good way to do it, is and try to include whatever games you can. So
yeah, for sure.
April says you guys have Dota 2 team as well?
Oh, thank you, April. Yes, there's also a Dota 2 team. I could tell I was forgetting something, which is why I kept lingering on it. But yeah, I couldn't. I
People
couldn't.
play Dota in North America?
Right.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Yeah, we do have a Dota team. They do regular practices as well. I see them in the Discord all the time. Yeah. So sorry to our Dota guys. I do apologize. I was not trying to leave you out.
So we also usually try to ask a little bit about like campus life and majors and things like that at IIT. Obviously, IIT is a tech school, so you're gonna have a lot of
Oh yeah.
kids interested that are playing games into the majors you guys offer. But if you want to tell us a little bit about what you guys
Yeah.
have.
So I'll be honest with our campus life and say that outside of esports, I don't really do a lot. That's really just a me thing. I do my classes, I do my esports, and I don't really do a lot else. So I can't
Feld.
talk about our campus life too much from my own anecdotal experiences. I just don't go out enough. That's just kind of how I live my life. So apologies for not being able to really fill too well there. In terms of our majors, though, I can talk pretty confidently there because we're a really brilliant engineering school. So our programs, really, our big programs are always going to be anything engineering, along with computer science and architecture. Our architecture program is really really good. They're really good programs. I'm 4 years into a computer engineering degree personally, and I can say the classes are gonna really push and try to make sure you can do the things that are being shown to you. We've got all of our labs set up, so you have to come out and apply the knowledge that you're being taught. And it's definitely not a program where you can just show up and esports is your number one priority, school is your second priority. I would say, it's, at least in my opinion, a relatively difficult, but it's not difficult for the sake of difficulty. It's difficulty because you're really learning stuff. So you're gonna come out, you're really gonna know what you're doing, and you're gonna be able to get a job in a really good field. Because engineering, I don't care what kind of engineering you're doing, you're in a good field. So it from an education perspective, it's a really great school if you're trying to just set yourself up for the rest of your life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how does, besides you, and then you said there's another co-president, like how does your club operate since you don't have like April is the advisor, but how do you guys is it just you two at the top and then
No. So there's a couple other people that we have. So we have a pretty we have a student board that for the most part, what we try to do as the student board is run our community events and try to get everything that all of our different competitive teams want to do paid for. So for that, we have me and the other co-president, Ethan Fox, along with we have a treasurer, a vice president, a secretary. We've got a guy running marketing for us who puts out a bunch of ads for all of the different teams around campus and on social media for us. So that way they have good recruitment tools. We have someone who, as a student, tries to manage the schedules for the Esports Center, Esports and Digital Arts Center. Our competitive teams are able to rent out space in it for practices when that is safe. And so we have someone who manages those schedules for us.
I like you said tries.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't mean
admittedly,
it's just a filler word. I don't mean anything by that.
Well, scheduling that's gotta be such a mess sometimes.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of gamers who want to come in, but I mean he does do a really great job of it. For the most part, we don't really have a lot of conflicts. We have pretty much none these days. But even under normal operation, there wasn't really a lot of conflicts. And then we also have someone who's in charge of managing our Discord, who are a community manager for us. In addition to, we get a lot of help from our faculty advisor, April, who is already in the chat. Shout her out infinitely. Wonderful person. And our alumni advisor, Elvin Moy, who's been, I believe he's been a part of the club since it was founded in like 2013, if I remember correctly. And he's been a load of help just with his connections and experience. He really knows Chicago esports and is able to help us out in a lot of different ways through that.
You know, like I was saying earlier, like I've known Elvin since we started with our group and hosting tournaments, and so I was really, I was sad to hear that he left, but I was like, oh, let's find out what else is going on, because it's been kind of a crazy year last year, because normally like IIT would come out to our finals event to view the teams, and since we didn't have that, there was no one to come out, so I was like, I need to figure out what's going on now.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I've actually been out to one of those just because I was free that day.
Oh,
maybe the one of the RMU 2018.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh my god,
that was your first year,
right? That feels forever ago now.
Yeah,
it was my first year for the league.
Yeah, it was forever ago to me. Like,
back when RMU existed.
Yeah.
Good memories, good times. Back when LANs happened. Oh,
all right, yeah,
back
when
loved it.
we actually had a Smash tournament down here about 2 weeks prior to lockdown. The Capital Classic was about 2-3 weeks prior to lockdown, and it was a really cool LAN event. And then suddenly everything closed.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I've been super sad. So I took over at the start of this academic year. So I took over the organization with the pandemic already in full swing, and there were so many things that I really, really loved when I was just a member of the organization that I couldn't pull off as a leader. So things like we just doing a big LAN at the campus center, couldn't do, super underwhelming. But I really look forward to when things are back to normal, so I can start bragging about how cool our community events are again, because those are really the highlights of the organization to me personally, and we just can't do them right now.
Yeah, LANs are super memorable for players. My players still talk about the Overwatch LAN from 2-3 years ago now, and that's their big thing. Is just they want to go to that LAN and go back and do it again. So LANs are what a lot of players remember.
Yeah. We used to, when times are normal, we try to make sure we go to any team that wants to can go to LAN tournaments, and that's been a lot of fun for me as a player. And I've really missed that over the last year, not being able to do those just because they don't exist anymore. So hopefully by next semester we can put those back on the agenda, but that is completely outside of our control, obviously.
People tried to make their own in like May of this year. They tried to run their own LAN events and totally didn't want to get caught.
Well, and also, I mean, it's possible like we might be okay by then, so we wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, it's hard to plan for the future, but without knowing what's going to happen. So, how have you guys navigated, especially you taking over during this time? Like, how have you guys been able to manage? Like, have you seen numbers go down because no campus life?
So, it's been tumultuous in terms of like our access to doing on-campus events, doing stuff like that. But from just a numbers perspective, we've actually been pretty fine. A lot of people who, when things aren't locked down, wouldn't really prioritize gaming, have now had an opportunity of, hey, I've got a lot of time on my hands. Let's play video games.
Yeah.
And we're trying to welcome all those people in, all those casual players, and try to make sure they have a really good time with everything. And we've also been able to, what we've been doing to try and make up the lack of in-person community events is about every month we've been doing a in-house event for a different video game. Although actually they haven't all been video games, because one of them was for chess, which was super fun.
Well, that's becoming an esport now.
Yeah. I don't consider it an esport. I just consider it a sport because I don't know. Either way, we've been doing those events. So we've done Valorant, we've done Counter-Strike, we've done Overwatch, we've done chess, like I said. Those have been a lot of fun. Those have been really successful. We've been able to get like 40 plus people in for various events. I think I think it was the League of Legends one that pulled over 40 people. So, those have been really successful. We've been streaming all of those on our Twitch chat when we can find people to shoutcast them, which has been happening for some of them. So I know the Valorant event that we had over winter break, we got a student to volunteer to shoutcast it for us. And that was super cool. So we streamed that live on our Twitch channel. And that's been super fun to try and make up for the lack of community events. And of course, it does lack the intimacy of, being in the same room as the people you're playing with, or, just generally being able to vibe with all your friends. But it's still fun, and it's been doing a really good job making up the whole, in my opinion. We plan to continue doing those even after things go back to normal, just because they're a lot of fun, just in addition to other community events in person once that's possible.
It's awesome to hear that you guys are still doing fairly well, because we noticed like a lot of the schools we talk to, like their numbers are down for their social clubs because they're just not having the campus events that they normally do, like big Smash tournaments weekly and things like that. And so, it's good to see that you guys are still thriving, and it also could be that you guys are more of a tech school, more tech savvy, more of type of people, but at least you guys are still finding success in this time. So
yeah, it's been super. Yeah,
cool. Did you have anything else to add? I don't know. Keith, did you have anything else? I think he answered all my questions.
We covered all the topics we usually cover for our schools.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Is there anything else that you want to add, Greg, before we close out?
Yeah. So I just want to mention again, so Illinois Tech Esports, we really want to be just a really fun and inclusive organization, as long as we can be. So just any type of gamer who wants to roll up and just talk, come on in. So I should also mention that we also have been able to secure Esports Scholarships is one thing that I really want to talk about.
Oh, really?
So we can give a $5,000 Esports Scholarship for incoming freshmen from the U.S. So if you're applying in through the Common App, there is a supplemental Esports Scholarship application and a one-page essay you have to write, in addition to sending us some information about you as a player. And if we like your essay and we like your player info, we will call you in for either an interview or a scrimmage. And depending on how you do there, might be able to award you a esports scholarship. So that's something that's super exciting for us. It's pretty new, and we're super, super excited about it. So anyone who's at all interested in doing esports in college and you want to come to Illinois Tech, make sure that you check that out on our first year scholarships, the Illinois Tech Esports Scholarship.
That's really exciting. It's glad you guys can actually start offering scholarships, and even though you're not technically a varsity program yet.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, so it should be clarified that the scholarships, so they're not just for the top tier gamers as well. We also are at liberty to give them to people who are we see as potential leaders in our community. So we don't just want people who are Valorant Radiants to come in and apply. We also want people who have been running their Smash Club for the last 3 years to come in and apply, because we really value both aspects of that. We want great gamers, but we also want great community members. We want people who just love esports more than anything else.
And that's really important to look for leadership and people who are passionate about it versus just, I'm here to play a game.
Yeah. So as long as you're passionate about it, and you can show me that, or not necessarily me, but show us as an organization that we are at liberty to give it to you, even if you're not like professional tier gamer. I wanted to make that clear as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome to actually be able to award that scholarship to people who aren't the gaming, the elite gamers, because you do need those people to run a club, especially in yours, not being a varsity program. It's better to have those community members that are leaders already, and give them some stipulation to be like, hey, yes, this scholarship goes for you helping out with the esports and being able to run it. And that's kind of what we try to do with the high school level, is try to have students be able to run their own groups and their own clubs and their own events and give them that experience so that you guys then can have them as a resource. And it's awesome to hear that IIT does have a scholarship that they can be awarded if they can prove it.
Yeah, we love stuff like that, and we really want to reward it. All right. Yeah, that was the last thing I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, April's talking just supplemental information about the scholarships, that the students get to pick them, and that IIT, and I know this from April and talking with her over the years, the IIT always has loved trying to help out and get everyone knowledge on everything gaming and help out with everything. And then, Surge, I'm excited for Surge. I'm hoping everything keeps going along, especially for you guys. It'll be great, right, by campus, and you guys will be a big part of it.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
That one's,
I didn't know how. I know it's public, but I don't know how much people know about it yet, so I'm kind of waiting for more stuff for them to actually get some more work done. Although I'll probably hear some stuff from them in April next week when we're in the other meeting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's something that's not quite like in my pitch about the org yet, just because it's not quite like ready, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, by the time that it'll actually be done, you'll be probably.
I'm not gonna be here when it's done, most likely.
It's like when you go back to visit your old school, and like, oh, that giant building, what I would have loved to go to, is now there.
Yeah. So it's not worked its way into my pitch yet, but that is something that's forthcoming. That's gonna be super cool. But that's more of something that I'm going to just be a random Joe when that's ready.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll be an alumni advisor, help out if you're still local.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Hey, that's grad school, right?
Yeah. I wasn't planning on that, but that's personal stuff. Yeah, we'll see.
Keith thought about going back just to participate in esports in college again.
Maybe.
Hey, it's fun. Why not? I mean, I had never done a LAN before I showed up here, and those are so much fun. I'd never played in a competitive team until I showed up here. It's a really good time.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for taking the time out with us today. If anyone wants to find out more about IIT, your Twitter is linked up there, but I posted also the link to IIT Esports. Is there any place else that they would be able to go to find out information about?
We always welcome high school students who have questions into our Discord as well. So our Discord is at discord.gg/IIT Esports. And if you have questions about our org and you want to come in and ask some questions, you can just hop in there and talk in our general chat and just ask questions. And somebody who knows the answer will probably pop up within a couple of seconds and come answer it for you.
That's awesome.
We also have an email, esports@iit.edu, and you can shoot any questions you have there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for hanging out with us tonight and letting us know about your program. And it's definitely good to have all of these Illinois schools on, because that's where most of our kids are going to end up going. And so we now we're growing our collection of Illinois schools. And, I have other schools reaching out to me like, hey, we want to talk about our school. And it's like, well, let me get Illinois done first, because that's our priority now. Mm-hmm. So it's awesome to have you on in here and tell us about your program. And, as April in the chat, thank you guys for being here and helping us give information and just, showing your support for IIT. I think what April's doing and helping out, like we were talking and, saying like April's helping out. And, when I first talked to April, she was like, yeah, I don't really have an experience in esports, but I love this. And she just grabbed onto it and is, willing to go, head over heels for everything esports. So I'm super excited to possibly be working with her with some stuff soon. So
yeah, she's super passionate. It's honestly great. Thank you so much for having me on here to be able to talk about my program. Our program really. it's super super nice to be able to have a platform to come out and talk about it. And it's super nice that there's this type of organization within Illinois high school esports, because that did not exist when I was in high school in Tennessee. So it's really nice to see that exists here.
Yeah, we're trying to pave the way for everyone to get it. So thank you much for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. With that being said, we are off for the night. Thank you for joining us. Again, we'll be back next week. Another college advisor next week. I think we have like 2 or 3 more weeks left until I round up everyone that I know of that has a program. We also have our Smash tournament on Saturday this week. Smash tournament Saturday starts. I don't know if stream's starting at 10
a.m. to whenever in God's name it finishes.
Yeah, good luck with that, Keith.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Smash all day, our top 34 players. Some of them actually ranked fairly highly in the state. We'll be playing in this tournament, so it's really going to be awesome to see everyone come out. And then we also at the same time have Naperville North playing in a cross-state Overwatch championship. I think we have schools from 4 or 5 other states, I believe, all state champions in their respective divisions from their states. They're playing in a friendly tournament this weekend to get ready for nationals coming up in 2 weeks. So I know Naperville North High School Esports channel Twitch page will be streaming on Saturday, since Smash will be Overwatch, but then hopefully we'll be streaming the last rounds on the 13th, which will be next Saturday as well. So if you guys are around for that, check that out. But until next time, I will see you guys next week.